You are listening to WOOP-LP, Cleveland, Tennessee. WOOP FM is a broadcasting service of the Traditional Music Resource Center, and we play America's original music.
Just one fan.
Good morning and welcome to Old Town Cleveland here on WOOP FM 99.9, or you can go to the internet at www.woopfm.com. You can call us here at 614-5553. My voice just left.
Good morning, Debbie Moore.
Good morning, Debbie.
Well, hello, Ron. How are you? I'm just trying to help you out there a little bit.
I'm doing pretty good so far.
Today is July the 8th, 2017, and we're glad to have you folks with us today. We're going to be having a little bit of a reunion show. We'll be talking about Oak Grove School, and that is near and dear to mine and Ron's heart. We both attended there, and not only did I attend there as a child, I came back and spent 25 years there as a teacher, so I know stories on most everybody. And we'll be talking about the good times there at Oak Grove. So if you went to Oak Grove School, I hope that you will call in and tell us your favorite teacher, or man, oh man, that cafeteria could cook. Or what? Ron never wasn't too fond of it in the earlier days as a small child, but I'll tell him when I was a teacher there, they did a bang-up job in the kitchen. I remember those little peanut butter brownies with chocolate on top of them. That's that good stuff that you can't get anymore in the kitchen.
That's
at
right.
Schools.
And coming up tomorrow at the library at 2:30, the Brentwood County Historical Society will be meeting, and they'll have a presentation on the mysterious tunnels under Cleveland, Tennessee. If you have been reading about that, about a year ago, the tunnels were found over in the parking lot next to the museum, and they go for miles all under the city of Cleveland. And tomorrow, the Lee University professor
Richard
Jones will be there to tell us exactly what those tunnels are for. And I've heard all kind of things and stories. People have got their own opinions, and I hate to tell you, most of them are wrong.
But we will be at the main branch of the library. There's about 100 seats there.
So please get there early.
Get there early. He will be showing pictures of the things that they saw and found underground here in Cleveland, Tennessee, both archaeological work, and they did mapping work. They mapped out all those tunnels that everybody has always talked about.
And went back and found the history. And there's a fish fry tomorrow.
Yes, sir, at Tasso Baptist Church up on the Old Charleston Road. They're going to be having a fish fry starting at 6 p.m. tomorrow. Go by there and support their cause. It doesn't say what the price is or anything on here, but I'm sure there's a charge, and I'm sure it goes to a good cause. And that, again, is Tasso Baptist Church tomorrow afternoon at 6 p.m. That's all I know of that's going on in Cleveland. I know there's a lot of things going on. See, something big coming up next weekend, and we talked about it here last week, is the Calhoun Rivertown Festival. And they're going to be starting about 10 o'clock in the morning, running to about 6 p.m. And we heard, and I'm sorry, I don't know the gentleman's name, but there was a fellow that owned a business up in Charleston or Calhoun, and he was doing a lot of the work voluntarily, and he passed. And so I'm hoping the pavilion will get finished, and they'll be ready to go. But even without the pavilion, I'm sure they'll go. There'll be activities all day long, including things for the kids. Sound like a great time. They're going to have like a water park and a big sand pile for the kids, and Ron's going to win the Titanic Award, we've decided.
Yes, you have to, if you can enter a cardboard box boat in the river, and the person who sinks the quickest And I think I could qualify for that.
I think you're going to need a bigger box, Ron.
A lot bigger box, but I look forward to that. And there'll be free rides up and down the Hiwassee River.
On pontoon boats.
Going
yes.
north, free rides. So if you want to go up and see the beautiful part of the Hiwassee River, you can do that. There's all kind of vendors and food. So
crafts and food, and it's a absolutely fabulous. Everybody in Calhoun's come together and going to have a really good time up there. So we hope that you guys will listen to us next week as you're going up there, and we understand there's going to be barbecue, Ron.
Yes, well, I'll be there. Who you got with us today, Deb?
This is Phyllis Coffey Martin and Sandra Paul, and they're here representing the reunion committee. That big word I couldn't think of. And they're going to be telling us all about what's going to be happening. And what is that date, Phyllis?
July 23rd from 10 to 2. And it'll be in the school cafeteria / gymnasium.
Which it used to be, yeah.
What it used to be.
Yeah, I don't think it's the gym anymore, is it?
No, it's
No,
just.
it's just that Ron's ringing the bell. The gym is a separate building now, and the cafeteria. I remember going to school there and waiting for the bus in the afternoon and sitting up against the walls and watching basketball games.
Yeah.
And you had to watch the game because you didn't know when the people and the ball were going to come out of the boundaries on you.
And the the stage used to be there, but it's not there anymore.
Mm-hmm. Oh, have they? Yeah, I guess they had removed it since I
was.
went on.
That's where I had my 5th grade class was on the stage.
Yeah, I had classes on the
Crowd
stage
of
too.
Miss York. Yeah. Now, there's one rule today when we talk about Oak Grove. Someone has to tell a story on Willie Bain.
Now, if Jerry Mason were here, he could tell you some stories, but I don't know if they'd be okay to put out on the air.
Well, this is a small station. Not many people's going to hear us anyway. So, I seen Willie this morning, and Willie said, "What you talking about this morning?" I said, "Oak Grove." So Willie's probably tuned in, and he's probably nervous about the stories that could be told about him. And I know more stories about him when he was older, and I can't tell those either for 2 reasons. One, they not suited for radio, and I was there with him, so you can't tell him yourself. So tell me what years you attended.
We attended from 1956 to 1963, when it was at that time a 1 through 8.
Right.
The school was not finished, so 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th went to Big Springs up on the rock pile, and then 5 through 8 went in the old school across the street.
Across the street, right, yeah.
Right. So anyway, we just had a good time until it was completed, and then the teachers that were going to be at Oak Grove were with their classes at the beginning, and then they went to back to Oak Grove, and that's when we opened the doors.
Yeah, I attended. They had just completed the 2nd building
Right.
back there, and I had Miss Melvin in that back hallway, and her and her husband moved off, and then I had Miss Lacey,
Miss Doherty,
yeah. So
the 1st grade teachers.
So
Yes.
did you guys attend the old building?
No, I
What-
didn't.
What do you know about that old building?
Nothing.
Nothing, absolutely
I
nothing.
called Buck Watson
Mm-hmm.
2 or 3 times this week, and or tried to get him, and finally got a hold of him yesterday. And I had asked him about, was there any historical information, file, anything, and he said no.
No, now when Roger Rowe retired, there was like a box of stuff there, which are these pictures and stuff, and we made him a scrapbook. I made him a scrapbook, and so a lot of that went in there, but I had never thought to ask, Mr. Curtis or any of those folks about the school. Now, Pumpkin Allen might know across the street there, and but if anybody there in the community actually attended the old school, which I'm sure there are people, but it looked like one of the schools from the early, like the 1920s or something. But it was a school there in the community, several years before the new building.
Who was your principal in 56? You remember?
No. I do not know.
Was it James Finley?
We never had to go to the principal's office.
No.
We were good.
Oh.
You know, sometimes in those days it was a teacher who just kind of served as the principal too.
Right.
So maybe somebody tells that too.
We there is a plaque on the wall close to the principal's office, and that lists every one of the principal's names. I have a picture of it, and if we have a break, I will check it out, try to find it.
We'll have
I
a
know-
break at 11.
I know Mr. Finley was early, and then Mr. Lillard.
I remember
When you
Mr.
left, when you
Lillard.
left, Mr. Lillard.
Mr.
Campbell.
Campbell was there too.
Okay, I don't know Mr. Campbell.
That's Kathy Campbell's dad that lived in my neighborhood.
Our
L.O.
neighborhood.
L.O. Campbell or something. Is that the guy
No,
that Jim's?
no.
No, it's somebody else.
No, that's he lived on the road.
He lived on Spring Place Road.
No, he lived on Durkee Road, going towards 64. And
Oh, well now,
his
yeah.
daughter was the secretary there for years.
That's
Delmer. Oh, Delmer Campbell, but I think it's named after his dad. The
Probably his dad, because Delmer worked at Volunteer Election.
Joyce was the secretary
Joyce
there
was
for
secretary.
Yeah.
30 years.
Right.
Yeah, she started the same year I started in 79. She and Suzanne Curtis and I came in at the same time, and I left about the time Joyce retired. Maybe Joyce was there another year or two after me, and then Suzanne's still teaching there. She's been teaching there since 79.
Roger Rowe became a teacher.
He was
Started-
a teacher. He
started
started as a teacher
yes.
and then moved up.
Yeah.
I've been trying for all the years we've been trying to have the reunion to get him to come down, but he's very big into pottery,
Right.
and he goes to a lot of arts and crafts shows and
He
things
and
like
his
that.
family take about a 4-week vacation every year and go all the way out west and do a lot of things. And I believe they're on this trip now because his son, Jason, is going to be on our show the last Saturday in July. And he wouldn't come until the end of July because they were going to be gone. But he is kind of a bashful old feller, and he don't like to come out. Roger doesn't.
Now, Sandra, where did you live at there?
I lived on Spring Place Road,
Where at on Spring Place?
2515 Spring Place Road. I can still remember it.
Is that south of Stacy Cross Station at Durkee, or was it south?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Who were your neighbors?
Miss Whaley and the Kaylors.
Who was your piano
Okay.
teacher, Ron?
Miss Mason. Now, there was the Queens and
Yeah, Denny Queen went to school. Okay, we met the first day of the school opened, 63 years ago. I know I don't look it, but
Not a bit. Ray Murray lived right there, I believe. You remember Ray?
Yeah, yeah,
And Miss
near.
Wayne. And I lived on the corner.
and the
Yeah,
Dunns,
Right
Durkee
down.
and Spring Place.
Right.
the Dunns, you know, Ruth Ann
Yes.
Dunn. She lived right across the street from us.
Then, of course, down the other way was my cousins, Tove and Bruce Efferson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they didn't go there. They went to Oak Grove a little bit,
Yeah.
but not completely. And then the Brackens up on the hill, and then Maroons lived down near you. And
Linda Herring,
She lived way down.
she lived way down. Susan Brooks.
They
Lived way
lived past
down.
Macedonia
a
Baptist
lot
Church.
of Owenbys.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Owenbys everywhere, right?
yeah. And let's see, Gary Ball.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see,
Now,
who's some of
Tobe and Mark McKenzie lived up on the hill
Right
from
up-
me
Yeah,
on Howell Street.
right.
And then Jerry White lived near the school, I think. Don Cry.
He lived out on 64.
Yeah, Randy Burns.
Yeah, he lived right behind me.
David Robinson lived right up on Durkee.
Yeah, when I missed the bus, I could go to David's Robinson's front porch if it was
And
raining.
there was some Givens out up
Larry,
Larry, right? His,
Judy Wells,
Yeah, Judy Wells.
right?
and then the Heibergers.
Yep.
Hamburger, yeah.
Leslie Heiberger. These people were all in our class. Leslie Heiberger and
Well, now one of the Heiberger girls still
lives here.
Well, no, she teaches it still at Oak Grove. I don't remember which
Allison?
one.
Allison Chansey. Allison
guess.
Heiberger Chansey.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
she's still
the younger one, yeah.
she student taught with me in 80, I think.
So where the Bots lived on down
Yeah. Randy Botts.
right.
Now, Connie Lewis lived on down the street from me on House Street. I was trying to think of everybody. The Charlotte, the Hickses, Cheryl, they were twins. Cheryl and Shannon. Cheryl and Cheryl.
What about the Chestains?
Bobby.
Bobby Chastain.
He lived on.
Chestnut. Yeah.
Sarah White. Let's see, who else? Janet Gill. Debbie Brown.
They lived more up into the upper part of Spring Place Road, so that if I missed the bus at Kathy Campbell's house,
She missed the bus a lot.
I had 3 little baby brothers and sisters at the time, and I had to be mother to them of a morning also, plus get to the bus. Then I could go down to Charlie's down on the corner. That was across the street from your house.
Yes.
And everybody run to Charlie's
Yep.
to get
To the bus.
to the bus. And then if I missed that bus, I went to David Robinson's house and got on the bus there. So I had 3 chances. And
Yeah, I was taught not to miss the bus, and I got a good story about that later on. I didn't miss it. Unfortunately, my friend about drowned in that swamp over there, but
He
My
left
word.
his man behind.
no, Bobby Goodner.
That name sounds familiar.
Well,
Well,
I'll tell you about
he-
Bobby.
he
Yeah,
wa-
Bobby's the late Bobby Goodner. He can't defend himself, but we're going to tell stories on him anyway. When I walked back into school in 1979 and started teaching, Mrs. Lacey looked at me and she says, "And who are you married to?" And I said, "Ronald Moore." And she said, she said, "I don't know if I remember him being in my class or not." He was that quiet little boy that made up all the mean stuff for Bobby Goodner to do.
So you were the brains behind it, huh?
Well, I said, that looks like that could be trouble, but a lot of fun. I said, Bobby.
yeah,
And he'd do it, and it was a lot of fun. And it was a lot of trouble also, so, yeah. I left him, it was freezing one day, and a little swamp behind Charlie's store had froze. And, back then seemed like it was 40 foot deep, but probably 2 foot deep. Bobby went skating around the ice out there, so you're going to cave in. It did cave in up to his armpits. The bus came. I had a decision. Help Bobby out of the ice or catch the bus. And my daddy said he would beat me if I missed the bus again.
You didn't know where to go catch it again, apparently, Ron.
He wasn't in the loop.
I wasn't in the loop. I was at the end of the loop, And so I got on the bus, and Miss Lacey asked me, "Where's Bobby?" I said, "He's in the swamp down there." So Mr. Lillard went and got him. And so,
Just left his friend behind.
Shame on you.
well, my daddy said he'd whip me now. But, which would who was you more afraid of at that point in time?
Oh, listen, I could have done a lot of things that I didn't do because I was afraid my daddy would beat me.
Amen.
I mean, fear is a wonderful thing when you're raising children.
Now,
They need to think that they're going to die.
Phyllis, I have breakfast with a guy 2 or 3 times a week. His name is Philip Cry. He worked with your dad,
right.
and he will tell stories on your dad a lot.
I don't doubt that.
You need to go have breakfast with him one morning to hear some of those stories. But I don't think any of them include
Ron
you.
is a member-
Your brothers, yes, but not you.
Ron's a member of the Romeo Club.
Retired
No
old
men
men
eating out. And they meet at Hardee's on Key Street every morning.
So,
Yeah, when you get to be our age, you don't go to bars anymore. You go to Hardee's
Yeah.
and Waffle House.
Well, and we've noticed too that when you're a child, you have birthdays at McDonald's, but when you get old, you have birthdays at Hardee's because all your buddies will get you a cake.
That's right. Well, they can't be a real sweet cake.
And then you
because-
feel really young because
Too
in the
many health issues.
Yes.
right
Oh.
in the last year, he's had a couple of buddies that's turned 100. I've got over 100 up there. So that makes you feel young too.
Listen, I tell you about those. Ma was coming up. Is it up? Yeah, it was up from Montgomery. I was driving up yesterday, and last night, and all of a sudden my car left the freeway. Yeah, my car left the freeway.
Here's the note. She's diabetic.
Oh no.
Yeah, and I looked up, and I was in front of Krispy Kreme, and the fresh hot sign was. My car just knows. It went there all by itself. I didn't have anything to do with it. It went there all by itself.
Well,
Been there, done that one.
well, I tell you, she got a dozen, and I will not tell on her,
Oh my gosh.
but she ate over half of them.
No. You just can't stop. You don't need to buy a dozen. Just give me.
Well,
And
if
then
they're
she,
hot,
what was the other
Oh,
one?
they melt in your mouth.
yeah,
so
they're
that-
not eating; they just melt. Yeah.
What was the other things you bought?
The other thing.
Shut up. I told her we've been friends so long, and I have known her probably longer than what? Well, let's see. I have 3 aunts and 2 uncles still living, and I told her if we ever have a fight and break up, I'll have to kill her because she knows too much about me.
Well, I have to say this at this point. She always throws it up. I was the good girl that stayed at home and got married.
Well,
taught
I got
school.
married too.
Well, we won't go to that number either. And then she was out having 3 babies and followed husbands around for different jobs, lived all over the South. And so I've got stories.
Well, and I'm sure you guys were the kind of friend that you hadn't seen each other in years, and you can take up right where you left
Yep.
off.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And if we don't talk every day, I feel like I'm walking on one leg.
So, now, did you went on to Bradley right after Oak Grove?
Yes, went to Bradley. We were very lucky at the end of Bradley. We went to Cleveland State opened up, and then some of us went on to Cleveland State. So totally, a lot of our first grade classes went to school 14 years together. Wow. And you talk about things we can tell. And
Your grandchildren are listening.
But I will say this. Now, we were, let's see, what's the word I want to use? A spirited group of boys and girls. And
Well, y'all were tired by the time you got from school chasing that bus trying to get on it, weren't you?
no, we were spirited. Literally every class, every teacher that we had,
except Miss Lacey.
well, she quit teaching the class that we were in. She quit teaching first grade.
No, I had her second grade.
I had second grade
Well,
also.
she quit teaching second grade then.
Okay.
That, didn't she? Literally every teacher we had either quit teaching, they changed grades, or they died right after our class.
We were a memorable class.
Spirited, very
Spirited, that was the word.
But everybody seems to be very successful.
Yes.
We have some very successful people.
And then there's Willie.
And then there's
Do
Willie.
you guys know what Willie's doing now?
Have
He
not.
works out at Parkview just to have something to do. He's out at Parkview Cafeteria, and he's the cafeteria monitor, which gets the kids to sit down and be quiet and open your milk and eat your lunch and stuff, and they call him Willie. The
Willie.
little ones do.
Little
Mr.
Willie.
Willie. And he has a ball. He thinks they're hilarious.
Oh, well.
Well, when we were going to school, you could talk at lunch and, throw food and, stuff like that. But now the poor little kids are like robots. They go in, they have to walk with their hands in their pockets or, down to their sides, and they can't talk at lunch.
Oh, not at Black Fox. We're highly spirited down there.
Well, I know where all my grandchildren
yes,
go. They expect them to walk in little lines like little soldiers and not talk. How do you get first graders not to talk? I'm sorry.
Wouldn't have worked at Oak Grove.
Well, no, I
Not
guess.
with us.
Of course,
See, you said set the standard for me when I came along.
Absolutely.
What it was.
Well, we were on the last classroom on the left, and we thought we had to go to Mars just to get to the lunchroom.
Mm-hmm.
We took a tour, and everybody says, "My word, I can't believe this hallway's gotten short." I said, "No, we've just gotten old
Yeah.
and taller."
Well, and the buildings now out there are so spread out, and there's a regulation that you can't close in the breezeways. And I always hated that as a teacher because I was out in that round pod building, and you had to walk the kids through the rain into a building, through the rain and into a building, and it was always quite a thing. You guys remember those radiators? They had those old steam radiators,
I remember.
and they would
next to- under the
clink and
windows.
clank and carry on all afternoon while they were cooling off. But and that heat would run you out of there too. And I believe they probably replaced that about 2000.
We used to have coal.
Yeah, in the back,
Yeah.
in the
Yeah, we had
underneath
extra coal
the
heaters.
kitchen.
Yeah.
It was so much fun watching the coal truck come and
Oh,
dump
yeah,
all
that's
that coal.
fun stuff.
Well, that's where the higher grade boys would go smoke. I didn't say that, but some were known to have done that.
Yeah.
I didn't see any of that.
Speaking about Willie again.
Well, I'm sure Jerry Mason was right there with him.
Yeah, I'm almost sure Jerry was there too. Who's your teachers do you remember from first grade on up?
Well, I had Miss Lacey first, Miss Lacey second. Who was our third grade teacher? That's the one we had 3 different teachers that year.
Hope.
Was it
Was her name
Mackenzie?
Hope? No, I think Mackenzie was our 5th grade teacher. And that's the only grade that I don't have a picture in. That's the only,
That's something we need if anybody out there has.
what is her name? I liked her.
Winton,
No. I think her name was Hope.
Hope Hall.
No, Hope Hall was in our class.
It'll come to you when you leave
Yeah.
here today.
You're right.
Yep.
Then we had a lot of the. We have a.
Jim, Miss Lee. Was Miss Lee there yet?
No,
No.
we had. I remember China Lacey.
China
Yeah,
Lacey
China
was
Lacey.
there.
Fifth.
And cherry tea. Did anybody ever get cherry tea?
Mm-mm. Cherry
What was
tea.
that?
That was spanking with her cherry wood paddle.
Oh,
Oh
nope.
no,
That's
I,
funny.
I didn't. I got a spanking my.
You know,
first.
I remember Evelyn Coleman telling me that when her children started there, she was kind of like, she'd come in and substitute when her children got a little bit older, and she could do that. And she kept working and working, and finally they said, you should be a teacher. And she went and took some little class, and they made her a teacher just like that, which is a lot of people were kind of grandfathered in like that in the 50s and 60s when they were really short on
Right.
teachers.
Well, I graduated from Cleveland State in August, then got married in August, and I had gone to, I knew Miss Ann Guthrie Martin,
Oh, yeah.
and
She hired me.
She hired me right out of Cleveland State, and I had the choice of 5 schools and went to Black Fox, and
That's when it was a small school. It's
was
almost
very-
500 kids now.
yes. So anyway, I observed 2 days and on a Thursday and Friday, and my mom and dad and mother-in-law and father-in-law and husband
Mm-hmm.
went and helped me move that class up on the stage.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I stayed for a while. So,
I didn't teach.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I thought I wanted to do, and I went to student teach one day, and they didn't tell me that it was a EMR class.
Oh,
And a couple of girls got into a fight, and like an idiot, I got in between them, and they ripped my clothes off just about. And I said, I don't want to teach.
no. Well, I had taught special ed was a new thing where you were leaving the kids in the classroom and somebody was working with them instead of them being in EMR classes. And I did that for 14 years, and then I taught remedial reading, and then one day they said, we're out of money, we're going to put you in a classroom. I was 40 years old. I had never taught in a classroom all day long in my life. Anyway, I was sure they had given me all the brightest, best students that year because I had always worked with kids that struggled. And oh my gosh, I had to study to keep up with those kids. Now, not every year was like that. Some years I had kids that struggled, but I did that for 7 years, and now I work with children that don't speak English. That's a fun job.
You know, do you remember when you were in school and you'd say, why do I have to take this? And they said, you'll need this one day. Well, you want me to tell you when you need it? It's when your kids are in school and you have to help them.
That's right. That's about it. Ron.
But they changed math. There's something called new math, and I think,
You know,
And then
if I'm not mistaken, 2 plus 2 is still 4, no matter how you do it. But you can't do it that way anymore. You got to draw these boxes, and I'm going.
And then there's the core, the core,
Common Core.
But I'll tell you,
core, and I still don't understand
I worked
that.
in a 5th grade classroom last year for a little while in math, and I will tell you, those children, although you may not agree with the methods, they were doing the math I was doing in high school, in first year high school. They can really do the math.
They was doing the math I was trying to do in high school.
Well, that's because they have so much more to learn, and
The world is a
They've been
much
doing-
smaller place now, and they come into school reading. They just know more, and you
some
gotta
of them do.
Some of them do, yeah.
Okay, now I've got 2 tough questions.
Oh no,
Who was the smart person in your class that just ruined the curve? And who was the guy on the other end, or gal on the other end of the curve? Who was in trouble all the time?
Oh, Randall Mantooth was the smartest guy in the class.
And Linda Heron.
And Linda Heron. Randall Mantooth and Linda Heron. Hands down.
Ruined the curve.
Okay. Randall he's Jim now. His name is James Randall Mantooth.
where is he?
He's in Montgomery.
He's
He's in Atlanta.
Alpharetta.
He's in Alpharetta, right outside of Atlanta. He'll be at the reunion, I think. He generally comes if he can.
Okay, tell us about the reunion.
Is that the man who's up on top of Cherry?
Yes. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but he lives in a great big house in Alpharetta now. I think he ended up being some kind of I think he's an electrical engineer, and he worked for Siemens as a consult. I mean, he would go all over the world and do stuff. I don't know exactly what he did. I wouldn't understand if he told me.
Who was the lady? The other?
Linda Heron.
Linda Heron.
No, who's she today?
Where is
she's
she?
in North Carolina. She is. She is a Griffin right now, and she lives in Wilmington, North Carolina.
Or she did the last time.
Or the last time.
We updated our list.
Okay, let's talk about the reunion before we turn the phones on here. When is it?
It's the
July
23rd.
23rd.
And that's a Sunday afternoon. I'm glad you're
Sunday morning.
Sunday noonish.
okay. Noonish.
It's brunch.
Brunch. It is I'm kind of partial to Old Fort,
Yay.
and they're catering a brunch.
Oh.
And I was afraid they might not do it since we're on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
But Corky said, and Scott said, oh, yeah, we'll do that.
Okay, that sounds good. And how much are the tickets?
$15.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
You've got to pay Kim Randolph at Fike Randolph Funeral Home. Get your money, take it, drop it off, stay and talk to Kim if you can catch him, and then
If Kim's not there, will somebody else there take your
yes,
money?
the
now?
secretaries will take it.
big.
And so anyway, Sandra has been moving from her apartment to her son's house, moving
Till the kids were out of school.
till
I
the
stayed
kids
with
were out
them.
of school. And then she's lived there, packing up again. She's staying with me all of July, going to her daughter's in August
In Florida.
in Florida, and then I'm going to find her a house or apartment. If anybody has a house or apartment cheap, and you need to call me. I'm having a
Yes, because I didn't marry well, like some women did.
Ron's over here giggling.
Man,
so anyway, if anybody has a house that
Phyllis.
well, I'm serious. She has children in Panama City and Destin and now Decatur, Alabama.
So you can have a highly spirited neighbor.
Oh,
if you
handyman.
what about
handyman?
what if there's any single men?
Oh, we are both looking for that.
Okay, single men with money.
Oh, yes.
loaded.
Well, my criteria
You
now.
married for love, now you're going for money.
Well, I married a couple of times before.
For love.
Well, anyway, my thing now is I need a man with a big truck and a billfold full of money to take me where I want to go,
What's the big truck for?
so I can see everywhere.
Oh,
Oh,
where I'm
you
going.
want a bit? Oh, okay, I understand now. I thought you meant need him to haul things.
Oh well,
Right.
not right now.
needs to haul Sandra
All my
to an
stuff.
apartment.
All right, now we know one this extreme. Who's extreme on the other end?
Class camp
Bobby
clown.
Chastain.
Now I don't know about the grades because
Oh no.
of course I was pretty dumb.
Well, I couldn't read well. That's when I went into teaching. Oh, a story on Miss Lacey. She, I think, might be a distant relative of mine, and I couldn't read squat at the end of first grade.
Phyllis is related to everybody. You go out anywhere and she says, "Oh, that's my cousin." Everybody's her cousin.
A lot of kids in those days had to work the farm. So, but anyway, we. I was looking at the group picture here of our first grade class, and Bobby. Now Jerry Mason, when he got there, like what, second or third grade.
He come from Big Springs too, did
Yeah.
he?
And then he and who run the pants up the
Oh
pole?
Lord, I don't know.
Who ran their pants up the pole?
Yeah,
That would be a good thing to know.
Yeah, they.
I think Jerry Mason was in on running somebody's pants up the pole.
Yeah, and they missed the little boy about 2 hours later, and they said, "Well, he's in the bathroom," and they said, "Well, why is he? Does he have a medical problem?" No, his pants were up on the flag. Took the flag day. Oh man, that was a mess.
Yep. That's when they said we need a principal now. Ron, let's go ahead and open up the phones. It's
Oh man.
It's 20 minutes to 11. We have quite a few people listening online. So if you want to call, you can call it 423-614-5553.
That's right.
Thank
She looked at me like, "Is that right?"
My brain went.
Well,
And
you
you're
know,
listening to Whoop FM Old Town Cleveland here on 99.9. You can go to the internet at www.whoopfm.com. We got Sandra Paul and Phyllis Coffee Martin. Boy, I tell you, I've known her all my life. She was that good-looking older girl, in the days. She was, she lived up the road from me there, and I remember her and her brothers and her dad, and I think her dad and my dad were all involved in the PTA,
Rutan.
PTO, or what, Rutan Club. That's what-
Rutan.
yeah, they
Rutan
called it.
Club.
They used to call it the PTA.
Yeah.
Now it's the PTO.
Oh, that,
If they even have one anymore.
they're all different. Of course,
It was pretty political back in the day.
Oh yeah, I know Frank White, which was from my class. His dad was there, and Virgil White, and
That's Sarah White's daddy.
yeah, and then Mr. Campbell, Delmer Campbell, and gosh, and then the Whaleys, David Whaley,
Shirley.
Shirley, Brent was my age, Brent and Steve, Joey. Whew. Oh,
I'm
Lord.
seeing where Stephanie Holmes is here online, and she said the Murrays, the
Right.
Queens, Wrights, Holmes, Campbells, and Nippers.
And Normanby.
We're her neighbors there. On her dad's still alive.
No matter which
probably.
road you went down, there was a Normanby.
I know he's a
out
World
on
War
that
II
end.
veteran. He's
Who's that?
Claude Holmes.
Oh, yeah. And
He's
then-
probably listening
And so
too.
was Mr. Whaley, Lloyd Whaley, that lost his arm in
Service.
service, World War II. So he liked to smell the fish cooking. We'd go cook. He didn't like to eat it; he just liked to smell them cooking. Oh, we remember that. We got to get to kids. We went camping together a lot back in those days. So my
That's
class,
when you
of course,
knew your neighbors.
Bobby Goodner was the smart one in my class.
No, he was not.
Oh yeah, that's right. He was.
He was on the other end.
The smart Alec. Oh, I got it. Yeah, he was definitely on the other end. He couldn't think of anything to do, but I helped him with that a little bit. And I guess the smart one in my days was Rita Cry. Would be one of those.
I had a
Screaming
Ricky
girl.
Robertson in my class, I believe was his name, and then he moved from Cleveland after graduation and stuff. Him and Charles, his dad played ball for you. What's Charlie's last name?
His dad, who now?
Played ball for your dad. Charlie.
Gladson.
Thank you. Charles Hanna's name was in my head, and I knew that wasn't right. Well, anyway, Charlie Gladson was really smart too, but I know that Rick, there was a newspaper article ran about him, a few years ago that he was like a rocket scientist or something. I don't know. So we turned out some good kids out of us, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Did now
It was
you
a good school to go to.
Oh, it was. I thought it was. The community was good too, and I rode my bicycle home or walked home to Spring Place in Turkey. That's a half mile.
Mhm.
Would you let your child walk a half mile anywhere now by themselves?
Well, there was no sidewalks either.
Well,
no sidewalks.
Well, my children pretty much go anywhere they want to now, but they're
They're a little older.
they're an AARP, but that's beside the point. Ron, I always like to hear you talking about the last day of school, riding your bicycle home.
Brent Whaley and I, last day of school, you clean out your locker, and I had like 6 coats and 3 or 4 baseball bats and gloves. Then Brent had all that, and we had one bicycle. So we rode my bicycle down from Oak Grove to the corner of Spring Place and Turkey. And that big, huge hill, it's not a big hill now, but if you're riding a bicycle.
It used to be.
I come off that hill going pretty fast, and the brakes quit. So what's my decision? So I went into Charlie's store there. And, I've got it made, and my hand hit the rear fend of some metal car. They don't have metal cars now. And there was just carnage everywhere. There was baseball bats and gloves and busted up hand. But that's my memory of the last day of school, riding off that hill. I also remember Dana North. You used to have the sign company here, Dana North Jr., I guess was. Well, his son and I went to, were in the same grove as Jerry North, or Russ, we called him. And I'd walk down Patterson Road all the way back in the back there where the Thompsons lived, and the McConnells, and who was on the other side, the Gilberts.
And Gary Crow.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, Russ lived there, and we would go out in his backyard and get in a 2-ton truck. They had a crane on it, and move all those old historic signs from Cleveland. All the neon signs that was ever taken down were behind Russ's house. And we drove that 2-ton truck around back there and moved those signs around. I would die if I see my grandkids out trying to drive a 2-ton truck now. Of course, my 2-year-old granddaughter would say,
Maybe she could.
I can drive. She.
I can do it.
Oh, yes, I've heard that so many times.
We're always 20 minutes late because she has to fasten her own seatbelt.
Well,
I fasten my seatbelt.
all of my grandchildren can drive, but one.
Oh, that's good.
You're a little ahead of me.
Well, I got started early, and
Still going.
Started early and stayed late.
no, I had 3 children and their little stair steps, and I had them when I was young. Had all my children before I was 26. All 3 of them, and I grew up with them, especially my oldest. And boy, I learned a lot growing him.
Times changed a little bit, didn't they?
Yeah, the first one's always your experiment child.
Well, I always find out the second one, you found out they don't break as easy and you don't care. You don't wash the pacifier. You just spit on it and rub it off and hand it back to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I learned
And
all
by
that.
and if they go to bed with dirty feet, it don't kill them.
Oh, no, it don't. Yeah. Yeah, it's, there's a lot of other things too. I learned.
And by the time you get to the third one, you don't have time to take pictures.
Yeah.
You have no pictures of your youngest one when
Well,
they're
you
little.
can't mark the doorway either because the other two done got all the door spaces marked. So you wouldn't
How
really,
tall they are.
Yeah. Well, I had 2 boys and 1 girl, and my daughter was the first girl born into my family for 23 years. So,
Needless to say, she's precious and
She's-
spoiled
and pretty.
and beautiful. No, beautiful.
But,
Takes after her mother.
What are you doing, Debbie?
I'm stretching.
Oh, I thought you was waving at something over here.
No.
Hey, you can call us here. If you attended Oak Grove, or you want to talk about your principal, your teachers, or you want to talk about Willie Bain, or anybody else in your class who was a class clown, 614-5553. If you happen to live outside the area, it's 423-614-5553. Call your friends. They can hear us and see us on the internet. And in about 2 or 3 days next week, we'll actually have the program up on YouTube. So you'll be able to see and hear this all again. Oak Grove was a middle class area, I would think. But now, we still lived in an area that pretty much was the haves and have-nots, because people across the hill lived at the city dump, and it was a culture shock there somewhat, and we'll talk about that here in just a minute. Go ahead, caller. You're live on Old Town Cleveland.
Well, good morning, Ron. It's Stephanie Hunt.
Hey, Stephanie. How are you, sis?
I'm all right.
Well, tell us about going to Oak Grove.
My first day of school. My first day of school was Mrs. Rose's first day of teaching, Diana Rose's first day of teaching.
Uh-huh.
And I walked in the door, and I told her that my granddaddy had already taught me how to read and write, and all my presidents. What was she going to teach me?
You asked her that.
Yes, I did. She told Mama that I scared her to death and she didn't know if she could teach me or not. She was just absolutely terrified.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next week, I went in school and asked her home for supper. Well, I forgot to tell Mama first that I was going to invite her home for supper. She wrote Mama... Yeah, she wrote Mama a letter thanking her and telling her her and Mr. Rowe couldn't attend that evening. But if they would invite her for another night, she'd be glad to come.
well, you know, teachers don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
No, you
Well, they did come for supper, and Mama and her become very good friends, and I still have the letters that she wrote to Mama thanking her for the invitation home.
Well, I'm glad they just didn't show up. Your mom would have killed you.
Now, Stephanie, which end of the class was you? Was you on the smart class or down on the
She was on the smart end.
on the getting in trouble end?
Well, I think it was both.
Yeah. She could try to think of those really difficult things to get in trouble for.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Well, I attended Oak Grove for 8 years, and I'm really glad I did. I had children and grandchildren that went there, so...
Yep. That's
Good
the
school.
good thing about community schools. And we've lost a lot of those in the last 20 years, but, you know, you can't afford to keep them open if they don't have enough kids attending them.
That's right.
Wonder why that is.
I think that people just want more. They want music class. You know, they want the schools that are a little bit bigger that might can offer a few more things, or I don't
newer
know.
buildings. I think when they build a new building, you'll
sports and
see the population of the nearby school go
Go
down
to
a
the
little
newer
bit,
building.
go to the newer building.
It's a funny thing what people think. But anyway, Oak Grove still is a good school.
Right, yeah, and it always has been, so...
Well, I think Roger Rowe really turned it around. You know, it was a good country school, but, you know, when he got there, when I was looking through the annuals that I had gotten last night, I realized that, you know, all of a sudden there's art classes and music classes, and, you know, the sports was looked a little bit more organized, and the kids were on the yearbook committee, and And, so they kind of took it up to another level. And I really don't know when they started going to Brandon Springs. Do you, Stephanie? That was after we left there.
Yeah, it sure was.
If folks don't know, Brandon Springs is over land between the lakes in West Tennessee. I guess it was the 8th grade class. Then it went down to the 6th grade class. Went for, I guess, 20 years.
Yeah. And they stayed, 4 days?
Almost a whole week. And a lot of times it was the first time most of the kids had been away from home, but they did all kinds of history things and science things and a really incredible thing. And at some point in time, it kind of fizzled out.
Which my favorite teacher was T. Blair Lillard, actually.
Well, some days he was a little fuzzy.
Yes, he was, but he was always funny.
Yeah, he was. And do you remember that trip he took us on in Polk County?
I sure do.
I wish I had listened to something he said that day, because he took us all over and told us all the historical things of Polk County. And now I'm thinking, I know T. Blair Lillard told me that, but I can't find it anywhere in the books.
It would be nice to go back and talk to him again, wouldn't it?
How's your dad doing?
Oh, he's doing good.
Now, how old is he now?
96.
96, World War II veteran. We appreciate his service and glad he's still with us.
Oh, me too.
Give him a big hug from me. Thanks,
I sure
Stephanie.
will.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
I wanted to get her off the line before she told the story on me, because we were in the same classes.
Uh-oh.
Oh, you could have been the one on the other end, right? But I was talking
I
about.
think I occupied both ends of that seesaw, too.
Good morning, live on Old Town Cleveland.
Good morning, Ron and Deb. How's it going?
Great.
Hey, good. What's up, Bullet?
I'm heading towards the Veteran Cemetery. I was going to kill Ron. I actually rode a pony. I was riding a pony when I was 2 years old.
So what big deal about a bicycle, huh?
No, I didn't go to Oak Grove School, but I can tell you who the class clown was in my school.
Go ahead.
There's 3 of us, me and Mitchell, Michael, Chris.
There's 3 Stooges then.
Where was this at?
Blythe Avenue.
Blythe Avenue.
Yeah.
Hey, Bullet, do you think the cemetery's going to be dry enough to mow today?
Say it again, Deb. I'm driving my car.
Do you think the cemetery's going to be dry enough to mow?
Yeah, if it don't rain anymore this evening, I believe it will be, but I think I'm going to wait. Are you talking about me mowing the Veteran Cemetery?
Yes.
I'm going to wait Tuesday.
Tuesday. Okay. All righty, buddy. Thanks for calling.
Okay, well,
Bye-bye.
You can call us here at 614-5553. Got Sandra Paul and Phyllis Coffee Martin here talking about the Oak Grove School and their reunion coming up on July 23rd, noon, $15,
It's about 10 to 2.
10 to 2.
There's been several different changes,
Okay,
but 10 to 2.
10 to 2.
That
And
way we'll be there ready to go.
it's $15. You need, that's if you're going to eat. If
It's
you,
an all-you-can-eat buffet.
okay.
Oh.
Well, I don't know if I can eat much or not.
Just turn your money in. So Sandra and I do a slam bam collection of goodies.
We go begging.
We beg. She begs one place, and I get to do the next, and so we always have great prizes.
So you want to have door prizes?
Yes.
Well, they're not really door prizes. We try to have something for everybody, and we had some really nice ones last year. I mean, really nice things.
Yes.
The local merchants are very, very kind and generous to us.
Now, was last year the first year you did the
Oh,
reunion?
no.
No?
Oh,
How
no.
long have you been doing reunions?
The first year we did it was,
Was that at your house?
yeah, it was at my house, and there were just a few people there. It was, well, it doesn't have a date.
Well, Susan Brooks' parents lived out on Spring Place Road, and Sandra came to help take care of her mother.
My mother,
Her mother.
after my dad passed.
After her dad passed, and Susan said, my mom and dad's house is empty and you can rent that. So Sandra and I and
So how many reunions do you think you've had? 5?
15?
15, okay.
No.
No.
Wait, not that long? How long have you been
No.
gone? 7?
Yeah. Well,
Maybe 6 or 7, okay.
yeah.
I was just curious, how many people did you have last year?
We had a good crowd, about
30?
30 something.
40? Something like that?
And we always have a good time. I mean, the food's great, you know. And then, you know, like Jerry Mason likes to, we basically just sit and talk and then
Turn it over to somebody.
and then we give then we give out the prizes, you know. This year we're going to do it just a little bit different because we have like the little tickets each time. We gave everybody a ticket, tear off half, and man, I mean, we had almost $2,000 worth of value worth of prizes last year, and it took forever to give them out.
Now, you guys have a year span on this, but if somebody wanted a few years off wanted to come, they would be more than
Okay.
welcome to buy tickets.
This is the first year that we've opened it up from the 1956 to 63. If you went to the Oak Grove anytime. Now, we hurt some feelings last year because we kind of didn't get it correct about just our class.
Mm-hmm.
And some people had to come back up to the Fikes Funeral Home and get their money back.
Oh, okay.
And so that's when we opened it up to everybody that was there while we were there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so Kim is a gracious money taker-upper, and it's a public place, and it's
Everybody knows.
everybody knows where the funeral home
Yeah.
is.
Oh, that works fine.
So get your money turned in because
By when? Soon.
soon.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we need to tell them like at least 3 to 5 days before how many people are going to be there, so they'll know how
So
much
try
food
to do
prepare.
it this week so you girls can play.
And since it's on a Sunday, you know, they have to bring somebody in to cook for us and everything. So, you know, we try to let them know how many people. But you know, the Old Fort, they're real good about. I mean, the portions that they bring for each person will feed 2 people. So
You will not go hungry, and they do bring go boxes, and we.
And if anyone's listening that was teaching there during that time or working in the school, of course, we want them to come too.
Yes.
I know that I was trying to think of the janitor's name that was there when I was there. Carl Inslee was the janitor there and had been there quite a while when I got there in 79. Who was your janitor? Do you
Oh, I
remember?
have no clue.
Oh, that's the person that runs the school. Who was did you have a secretary?
I don't know. We were never out of our little room and went to the bathroom and went to the cafeteria.
absolutely.
Went out
What you did.
I was, believe it or not, I was very quiet.
Ron's
I don't
looking
believe it.
doubtful.
No, really, I was very quiet, and I pretty much just kept my head down most of the time. I wasn't the best student in the world. I had to really work. So, you know, my brother's is a whiz. I mean, he just whizzed through school. He got all the brains, and I got all the looks. No,
I was sort of the quiet one too.
you know, and you know, there were others that
Well, I
a
was
lot
never
of,
quiet.
No.
And never have been. Mouth
you-
of the South here.
Do you know what I remember about Phyllis?
Oh,
She
God.
always had Luden's cough drops. Luden's wild cherry cough drops in her pocket. I mean, she always had them, and she would dole them out to her friends.
I remember playing marbles there in the parking lot. The parking lots weren't paved, and we'd get there in the morning for bus duty, and they would you had to stay outside until the school opened. And basically, I don't think there was anybody watching us. It's wonder we hadn't killed each other, but we'd shoot marbles up there in the dirt next to the school.
We used,
It's coming up on
Oh,
11
okay.
o'clock.
She's just waving her arms over here today. She's going to have to give me a little bit more better too.
I need a longer stick so I can whack him.
Folks, we're going to take our mid-morning break here. Well, talk to us a second, Deb. Tell about the announcement so I can get ready.
Okay.
I've been paying attention over here. I've been paying
He
attention.
was just happy somebody hadn't told a story on him yet. There will be a community-wide fish fry tomorrow, July the 9th at 6 p.m. at Tasso Baptist Church. Go out and join them. And on our desk this week, we want to remember Dave Dorman. Penn Gulf Company that was doing the work we talked about last week in Calhoun. And remember his family. I believe his passing was quite sudden.
And don't forget the, I know what I was going to tell you.
Tell us.
Every week we play a song called Gone Home. We dedicate that to all the people that we've lost in our community in the
We
last
lost
week.
Jim Henderson this week.
And Sonny Carpenter, my next door neighbor.
There we go.
All right. Anybody else? Just this song goes out to them. It's a song written by Jumpin' Bill Carlisle for his brother back a few years ago. And so we'll be back here in a
just
few minutes after these words from our sponsors. I hope.
Hello, I'm the doctor.
And you're listening to WOOPLP, Cleveland, Tennessee. WOOP FM is a broadcasting service of the Traditional Music Resource Center, and we play America's original music.
At Buy Here, Pay Here USA, we don't just sell cars, we buy them. Bring your car, truck, or SUV down to Buy Here, Pay Here USA, and we'll give you a free appraisal with no obligation. We pay top dollar for most cars, so before you trade in your vehicle, come see us for an appraisal. At Buy Here, Pay Here USA, we pay the most for your car. Visit Buy Here, Pay Here USA in Cleveland, Dayton, or Chattanooga, or go to buyheresellhere.com. That's buyheresellhere.com. Restrictions apply. See store for details.
This is Teresa Gilbert from the Village Bake Shop in Cleveland, Tennessee. Do you have a birthday, wedding, or anniversary coming up and want that perfect cake? Need some donuts to sweeten up your coworkers? Want to surprise your sweet thing with a bag of cookies? Then come on over to the Village Bake Shop. Family operated since 1961. The Village Bake Shop is your first and last stop for fresh baked goods that will feed your sweet tooth. The Village Bake Shop located at the Village Green Town Center. The phone number here is 423-476-5179. See you soon.
No dealers allowed.
Jackson Catnapper, family owned and operated in Cleveland since 1933, offering the best with over 70 styles of recliners, sofas, electronic lift chairs, full living room packages. Call Mike now at 961-7239 because Jackson Catnapper now offers sales to the public
Every Saturday. That's right, every Saturday.
From 8 in the morning to 1 in the afternoon. Or call Mike at 961-7239 or go see him
Every Saturday
at 1911 King Edward Avenue, just across from the main plant. Jackson Catnapper, family owned and operated in Cleveland since 1933, 961-7239.
No dealers allowed.
Say you've gone home, they have gone home, gone home, they have gone home. They've joined the heavenly fold. They're walking the streets of pure gold. They left one by one as the work here was done. Gone home, they have gone home, gone home, they have gone home. They have gone home. They've joined the heavenly fold. They're walking the streets of pure gold. They left one by one as their work here was done. Gone home. They have gone home. Gone home. They have gone home. Where the old town goes. They moved it all north of here in the shopping mall. Where the old town goes. Did my hometown get old or just me? Did all my friends get old or just me? Are they all gonna have to be told or just me?
Welcome back to Old Town Cleveland here on Whoop FM 99.9, or you can go to the internet at www.whoopfm.com. You can call us here at 614-5553, or if you're out of the area, just add 423 to that 614-5553. Got Phyllis Coffee Martin here and Sandra Powell. We're talking about Oak Grove Elementary School from the 1956 forward till they graduated from there. There's going to be a reunion coming up July 23rd. If you would like to attend, it's $15 for a brunch buffet. You go up to where is it? Not Buckner.
Randolph.
Randolph.
Fike Randolph.
Oh, yeah, I get all
it's
that. I keep, it used to just be Fike. But go up to their office and see Kim Randolph and buy your tickets there. And we'd like for you to do that as early as possible so they can let the people at Old Fort, who's going to cater it, know how many people to cook food for.
Mm-hmm.
So bring your old pictures and your old stories and your old lies. Make sure you're there.
Your old spouse.
You better get in line because there's some good storytellers coming. You know, Jerry Mason, Willie Baines there to sit down and listen for a while because you could hear them both as they walk in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we
That's
know
one thing
Willie's
about
bought
Will.
his ticket. He told us this
Yeah,
morning.
Willie.
Ron, next week's show is going to be a show that we've been wanting to do for 8 years now, and we finally got one pulled together, and it's the Parksville Cabins. We have Amy Card-Lilios heading that up, and she's going to be in here, and maybe along with some friends, and going to be talking about when the cabins were built and all the good times that the folks had up there. And we're looking forward to that. And also next Saturday is the Rivertown Festival in Calhoun from 10 to 6. A lot of things for everyone in the family to do up there. We hope that you will support them and go out. We've been up by the river several times this week. I was trying to get some good pictures for the festival, and it was muddy.
It was, and if you're interested in the Rivertown Festival, you can go the easiest way. Just go to the City of Calhoun, Tennessee website, and it has Rivertown Festival link there, and it has all kind of contests. They have a cardboard boat flotation contest, and I guess you win if your boat stays up the longest, and you have to ride in this boat. And there's the Titanic Award for the boat that sinks the fastest.
And then they're going to have the free pontoon rides. I think that's going to be something where they'll take you up the river and show you around. And I needed that pontoon ride this week. Ron and I went up 2 days in a row, and I was trying to get the picture of the big turtles. They're huge turtles up there. Well, they're always on the far side of the river where you can't get by car. And I needed a pontoon boat ride this week.
But go up, there'll be food, and there's music. Just go look at that. There's a photography contest. There's a lot of things you could enter. There's other things that the kids can do up there.
There's kids' activities. There's going to be a water deal that the kids will, so take your kids with their little pool shoes and little swimsuits on, and there's going to be ways to get wet, and they'll build
decorate your bicycle and enter your bicycle, and it has to be a water thing.
It's just a real old-fashioned day, and we hope everybody will go out and support them.
Brand new pavilion going in up there.
I wanted to say hello to the sweet lady up at Charleston Produce Stand. Ron and I were up there last week, and we know that she listens to us on a regular basis, and she had some really good cantaloupes and watermelons.
Big watermelons. Good looking watermelons. Also, don't forget, tomorrow at 2:30 at the Cleveland Public Library in the community room, that's the main branch over there, the Breathitt County Historical and Genealogical Society will host its quarterly meeting, and we have Dr. Jones from Lee University will be there. He'll be talking about the mysterious tunnels under the city of Cleveland. Him and his students have researched that. They have diagrammed it. They
mapped it.
They have went back and found the original origins of the tunnels. And
they're going to show you and tell you all about it.
Now, this is not the claimed tunnel from the Roth House down to the railroad depot. It may include that, but that's not what most of these tunnels are for. And it has, well, I'm not going to give you away what they're there for.
Well, just come.
But not many people have guessed
And the meeting
right
is
answer.
free and open to the
Absolutely free. Be there at 2:30 or about 100 seats. So we think there's going to be a big interest there. Get there early. I'll stand up. You can have my seat if it gets crowded. So see you there at 2:30 at the Cleveland Public Library in the community room. Free parking, free attendance. Now, we're back to Oak Grove Elementary. And do you remember the big fall festivals we used to have out there?
Yes.
Oh, my.
Were they having those prior to Roger Rowe? Or was that a Roger Rowe
They had
thing?
those ever since I can remember.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
They were having them when I was first grade.
Okay.
I thought that was the greatest thing in the world.
Oh, yeah.
One of the memories of our Oak Grove reunion is we were at the Elks Club and we were trying to find a theme or something, and somebody says, well, let's do the Fall Festival. So we had a putting green for the golfers, and we had the fish pond, and all of us baked and had a cakewalk, and we just had the best time.
But that wasn't for the Oak Grove one.
Was that not?
No.
Well, excuse me.
She had a good time anyway.
Well, it was for the
did-
Bradley High School one.
Yes.
But
Class of 67.
Yeah, well,
we had a good time.
yeah, that's fun. I remember the festivals being huge, and they were bringing in monies like nobody was making at that time.
Oh, the King and Queen and
Yeah.
the auctions and the...
And I think in 1976, the proceeds from the Fall Festival went to air conditioners.
Yes.
At that time, the air conditioning was not provided by the county school system, and they put in window air conditioners. And when I got there were still huge window air conditioners in every room, and not every room, most every room, and they were still putting them in at that time.
And you know, there wasn't as much going on then. You know, or at least when I was growing up. You know, you went to church on Sunday morning and Sunday night and Wednesday and Thursday, and if your dad was a minister of music, you went
more often than that.
in the summertime.
Choir practice.
In the summertime you had revivals, and boy, I used to hate those because I got a spanking every night because I couldn't sit still, be quiet.
But you know, you went to school and you went home, and there
Yeah.
were a few kids that played sports and stuff. But
And there's
it
only
wasn't that
there's only three channels, and when the president was on, it was a
That was the
terrible
only
night.
thing. Oh, but you know, we had remote from the very beginning.
And you?
It was Sam. Get up and go turn that
Yeah,
channel.
I did that too. And I also stood out back behind the house and turned the antenna.
Yeah.
So
sometimes I just stand there and listen to my dad yell, and he'd go, "That's it, don't touch it." I go, "Oh."
JFK. Remember the day he was
Yes,
shot?
I do.
What grade were you in then?
I was in Bradley High School study hall.
Oh, you were old enough to really realize
And
what's going on.
I was transistor radios had been invented, and this kid had one, and he had run it from his pocket under his shirt up to his ear, and then held his hand over his ear and neck so nobody could see the little wire. And he stood up and screamed, President Kennedy's been shot. He's dead. He's killed. Oh my gosh. So, of course, everybody cried. And
Right.
Well, now we saw President Kennedy in person in our 8th grade class.
I saw a
Went
picture of
to,
that in Miss Lacey's stuff, I think.
Went to, where did we go?
Where
we
did
went
you
to
go?
Nashville.
We went, yeah.
I was wondering where that was.
We went to the Coliseum and the Capitol and
Now, how old were you when you saw the president?
8th grade.
8th grade. Wow, that
that
would have
not
been
it?
that would really been something. And
Okay.
probably a lot of the kids had never been to Nashville.
That's
No,
our,
they
that
had
was our
not.
trip.
Was he
There's Laura Presley.
killed that fall?
I think
so.
I think he was killed shortly thereafter.
Oh, okay.
And so, and I'd never seen a president before, so, I mean, it was like, wow.
I still hadn't,
Mm-hmm.
except him.
Mm-hmm. Ron, tell them your
Well, I
President
saw-
Kennedy story.
Oh well, I was at Oak Grove when he died. I was in Mrs. Lee's 4th grade class. I had went to the restroom and seen the teachers huddling in the hall, and I heard that the president had been shot. And I went back in and made the announcement to the class. My daughter was going to Oak Grove years later, and of course, it's always great when Dad could come have lunch with them. I sat in the chair with the knees above my head, because they're way down on the ground. And, of course, the dad's job was to buy ice cream for the class. That's the other job he had. But I'm sitting there, and I told him, I says, I went to school here. They said, you did? Yeah. And I says, matter of fact, I was here when John F. Kennedy was shot, and I was standing in the hall, and I ran back and told my class. So they went, oh, wow, yeah, and everything. So one little child went home and told their mother that Ashley's dad was here, and Jeff Kennedy was shot in the hall and killed right out here at Oak Grove School. Lost something in interpretation, and and there's so.
I was in Miss Lacey's class when we were out on the playground, and the same thing kind of happened. The teachers started, and then what do you tell a, 2nd grader? They just kind of told us, and then I remember being out of school. School was out for several days, and that was all that was on all 3 channels. And we sat all day and watched that funeral procession all day.
It was
Mom would
amazing.
not leave the TV.
Yeah, the fall festivals were, it was a big carnival.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, they still have them today, but a lot of schools only have them every other year or something like that. And then Oak Grove.
Every fall.
Oh, yes.
And then they went to spring festivals
Mm-hmm.
because there were so many in the fall.
I know Oak Grove made a lot of money because it seemed like you would get there like it would turn dark about that time of year, about 5 or so, and it seemed like you'd stay there till
Midnight.
1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, but when it was just a few hours and it was gone. Hey, you're live on Old Town Cleveland. Go ahead.
Oh, is this Ron and Debbie?
It is.
Well, I live on the other side of the White Oak Mountain, and I can't really pick y'all up.
Well,
What's going on?
you got to have to stand outside with a coat hanger and some aluminum foil.
Yeah.
Well, I just wanted to call you and say hello.
Well, who is this?
This is Bobby Ritchie Sr.
Oh, Bobby Ritchie
Hey, Rick.
Sr. How are you?
Pretty good. Y'all all right?
Doing good.
Well, I just wanted to check.
Well, we're here and we're doing well.
Well, good. Well, anyway, I just riding to Cleveland. I just wanted to say hello.
All righty.
Oh,
Well,
we're
thanks
glad
for
you did.
thanks for tuning in. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
We were just on the. He'll be coming around the mountain.
Loop Radio has a wide reach if you're sitting across the street. I can be in Dayton and hear it, and I can be on 64 Highway going towards Polk County and Bradley County and can't hear it. So it's according if it's raining or which way the wind's blowing.
Well, I can't catch anything in Charleston.
Well, that's true. Charleston, is a little far for us.
We can't even get cell reception at her house.
Okay, it's
But
kind
you can if you get internet. If you have internet, we're all the way on www.whoopfm.com. You can see us and hear us live, and then later in the week, you can follow us on Facebook at Old Town Cleveland. And if you'd like to join, you'll have to go to Friends of Old Town Cleveland because Facebook only allows you to have 5,000 friends. So Old Town Cleveland has 5,000. So now everybody goes over to Friends of Old Town Cleveland. And so we cover
We've
about
had an active week on Old Town Cleveland,
Yeah.
the Friends of Old Town Cleveland. We kind of dug down deep, and here the last few weeks, we've had people that have given us lots of nice pictures that have come from estates, and the family don't know what to do with everything, so it comes to our house. And so we've been posting a lot of stuff from Dr. McCauley's
unbelievable
stuff.
collection of pictures. I mean, him and his soon-to-be wife posed together with knickers on in 1925.
Precious picture.
It just, if you wanted to take a picture of a couple in love, this was it. I mean, it was just dynamic, 8x10, and we're going to donate a lot of this to the History Branch, so they'll be on store after we get through looking through it. But that's one 8x10 I'm probably going to frame and keep at my house. Just it's that good of
precious.
a picture.
But there's a lot of football pictures, baseball pictures from when it has the C on their uniforms, which was Central High School then.
Bradley Central.
And then when
they just called it Central.
To begin with, and then they finally added the Bradley. But it was every night we're digging through those boxes, and then Miss Lacey's stuff showed up this week. So we don't mind taking stuff like that and getting it where it belongs. It's really frustrating to see those beautiful pictures, and they don't have names on the back of it. So everybody listening,
Do not throw away your pictures if you don't want them. Take them to the History Branch of the Cleveland Public Library, or just give us a call, and we'll be glad to pick them up and sort through them and share them with people. And we'll talk more about that. Fall festivals were fun. I remember I won a German chocolate cake one time.
I was just going to say German Shepherd.
No, German chocolate cake, and I was hooked on.
But everybody won something. I went to one at my grandson's just recently, and the only people that won were the people whose parents were working in there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going,
When you go to the fish pond, you get those little things. What do you call it?
Everybody wins. Yeah.
When you stick your fingers in them, and if you try to pull
Chinese handcuffs.
Chinese handcuffs.
I thought that I was so scared to put them on though.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going, how am I going to get out of this? Oh my gosh, and spider rings, good stuff.
Yeah.
We got
Cheap plastic toys.
Yeah, good stuff. Hey, good morning. You're live on Old Town Cleveland.
Good morning, guys. This is Steve Johnson.
Hey, Steve.
Go ahead.
I went to Oak Grove on the 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th grades. I think I was a year behind Phyllis, and possibly Sandra. China Lacey was my 5th grade teacher. Hope Hall, 6th.
Hope Hall, that's who she was.
Roger was my 7th grade teacher, and we had a 7th and 6th grade class in the cafeteria that was kind of cordoned off over on one side. I think we had an overflow of 7th and 6th graders that year, so that's where we were. I posted I asked Judy Epperson, thank you, Judy, for posting a few pictures of a couple of basketball teams and our class pictures. Your website.
Well, thank you for doing that. We saw them. They were wonderful.
Yeah, it brought back some memories. One of the thoughts that I had, I heard you guys talking about Kennedy. I was in the 8th grade when Kennedy got shot. I was on one of Mr. Lillard's pet projects doing something outside, and I had a transistor radio with me. I heard that he had been shot, and I remember the windows to one of the classes was open, and at the time Mr. Rowe was teaching in the class, and I shouted through the window that President Kennedy had been shot. I remember Mr. Rowe looking at me and said, "You're crazy." But anyway.
Sounds like something he would do. Tell you to be quiet.
Anyway, I enjoyed listening to you guys. Just off the golf course, so I'm getting ready to go home. But I did want to call and say hello, and thanks for doing this.
Oh, we love reunion shows here on Old Town Cleveland.
Thank you, Steve. We love old pictures. Anybody has them, make sure you post them on your Facebook page or on Old Town Cleveland's We Love History Pictures.
Thanks, guys. I'm going to leave and let you talk.
Thank you.
How did you shoot today? What was your score?
I
shot a 72 the other day.
He's lying.
Go
Yeah.
to the next hole.
Well, it started raining after 5 holes. I had to quit.
Goodbye.
All right,
bye-bye.
thank you.
Somebody asked me my handicap when I was going to play in a tournament. So what's your handicap? I said, golf. I said, are you an A, B, C, or D player, for the foursome? I said, I'm an F player. I failed. And so that's my bad golf jokes for the day. So some basketball teams were always good around Bradley. Oak Grove. Who were some of the players there? Do you remember?
Brenda Bashirs.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a picture.
Peggy Bracken,
The Oinbys.
Laura Presswood,
Xander Owenby went to school there, didn't she?
Susan Brooks.
There was some good basketball players
Gilda
down
Hall.
in Bradley.
I think Linda Heron was the scorekeeper and the books lady.
There's a Dixon that played later on after you, wasn't he?
that?
That's Janet Denton.
That's the game you play when you look at old pictures. I'll take my finger and I pat the person thinking, yeah, I know that person, but what in the world's their name? But, I remember
Jerry, looks like Jerry White was on the team.
She was.
Mm-hmm.
She was.
Mm-hmm. I think shortly after that, Roger Rowe became the coach. I know he was the coach when my sister Vicky played for a little while.
They were pretty good. I think Michigan Avenue had some good ball players.
Oh,
Yes, they did.
always did.
Yeah.
I
And I remember going to Prospect, and they had such low ceilings in the old Prospect gym. And our guys they were used to it. Our guys
Couldn't deal with it.
couldn't deal with it, did not know anything.
I don't remember the old
I
children.
don't know about the boys' basketball team, but I know that the girls' basketball team, now that was a fun thing to do, is go to those basketball games and to the tournaments.
Right. They had cheerleaders, the cheerleaders for all the elementary teams. That was at a time when it was very well organized, that they had basketball teams at every school that was sponsored by the school. I think now, if they have a local team at a school, parents and volunteers do the coaching. And then they had the cheerleaders, too, that were always really good.
Well, parents were a lot more involved in school.
Well, Mama was at home.
Right.
Daddy worked. Mama was at home.
Rarely did someone's mom actually have any kind of job unless she was a nurse or something like that. And so most everybody's
A nurse or a
parents.
teacher.
And it just seemed like your parents wanted to be involved in the PTA or Ruritan Club.
And get in trouble at school, and before you got home, they knew it.
Amen. Paddle at school, paddle at home.
Let's get this
I've
going.
been there, done that.
Been there, got that.
Good morning, live on Old Town Cleveland.
Good morning, Ron.
Hey, Miss Joe.
How are you, Joe?
Oh, I'm fine as cat hair. I'm laying up here listening to somebody ought to cut it off. Did you hear that?
I heard that.
Yeah. I don't know what I'd do on Saturday morning, bud. I look forward to this. I get up and fix me something to eat so I won't miss a word.
Well, I know you fixed something to drink.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I looked for you to come over, and I was going to fix you one, but you didn't show up.
So now, what do you like in your Jack Daniels?
Oh, a little coffee.
Yeah, very little coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, she doesn't drink in the morning because she doesn't quit till about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
And there we go.
There you go.
Cleveland is a dry county. Bradley's a dry county, isn't
Hey,
it?
she gets somebody to bring it to her.
Don't let them women really
now,
believe that now, Ron.
she's the person that needs a man with a big truck to haul her whiskey.
I see.
It's a bootleg for her.
Well, if she lives on the east side, she don't have far to go to the Polk County.
There you go. Get you some moonshine.
No. They have a liquor store.
They do have a liquor store now. They do. Well, Miss Jo, we hope you have a good week, sweetie. And we always appreciate you.
Y'all do too, and tell that lady that you can go down here to Udall.
Well, it depends on where you live, which one's closest.
Well,
Yep.
I believe this one would be closer to me.
Okay.
If I drank that Ronnie, he likes the devil.
Oh, he's a sweetheart, isn't he?
And she,
I don't know what I do when Saturday morning comes and they're not on. If it's somebody else on,
and I'll tell you, we always play Just a Swingin' for her when we go off the air every week.
That's a deal.
All righty, Miss Jo, you have a good week, and we'll talk to you next Saturday.
yeah, I know, but Ron, where did you say that little boy or man lived at that sung that song? Thank you.
Jumping somebody, Carlisle. Where does he live? Where did he? Nashville?
Jumping Bill Carlisle and Bill Monroe were played together. So he lived in Nashville.
Yeah, but you said he lived on Spring Place Road.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
That's Stan Beaver in the Rockabilly Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Yeah, he lives down about Mill Creek Road, about almost in the to Hughes Lake.
He got a rocket in his pocket.
You mean
A pocket in his pocket, a rocket in his pocket. That was the name of his song that he made it hit with.
no, babe, not that. The one that says "Thank you, Jesus." For
Oh yeah, he does a version of that. Yeah.
is the same guy does the same one?
Yeah, he does a version of that. Yeah.
Oh, and he just lives out here,
Out on Spring Place Road.
right there at McCall Lake.
No, he lives all the way down to the county line, down towards Georgia.
On Keith Valley Road, reckon?
No, it's right on Spring Place.
Oh.
He lives on down the road.
He's single.
You're looking for a man.
Well, listen, honey, I'm not looking for no man, so you can get that out of your mind. No, I wouldn't have one. I like my life the way it is. I can get up and do what I want to do. If I want to go anywhere, I go and come back. Yeah. Lord's good to me every day, so
There you go.
take that. And bye, and have a nice weekend.
Thank you.
All right,
Bye-bye.
bye-bye.
Miss Jo.
She can do whatever she wants to. If she wants to get drunk at 3 o'clock, she can get drunk at 3 o'clock.
Is that morning or afternoon?
Yes.
Either or, huh?
Either or.
Hey,
She really
that's
does.
2 times a day. Yeah, she.
Ron likes to, as she calls it, devil her.
I see.
Oh, let me ask you, who played a flutophone? Who learned to play a flutophone? Remember
Everybody.
those?
I didn't
learn how to play one.
Oh, we did.
And do you remember Flow Gently, Sweet Afton?
Yes.
Oh.
And come little leaves, said the wind one day.
Come out in the meadow
With me to play.
Put on your dresses of red and gold. For the days grow short and the nights grow cold.
Well,
I forgot the word because I've got old.
Well, I was teaching in Bradley County 32 years. Went to Georgia for 10 years, and somehow I was sparked by a poem that I was teaching in English Lit that time, and that poem flashed in my brain. So I am totally computer illiterate, like I am directionally illiterate.
I'm directionally challenged.
Well, I just go for the throat. And
I'll say, Ron, I feels like we need to turn right here. And she said, well, I'll turn left. Hold that thought. Let's get this call.
All right.
Good morning, you live on Old Town Cleveland.
Howdy.
Hey.
No, I'm not single. You ask my wife. She's been 30 years.
Okay, Stan, I'm sorry.
Stan is not available, ladies.
Well, darn, that's one down.
Well, Joe didn't want a man anyway, she said.
Well, since Sandra and I are both single, you're off the list too. Sorry.
Oh, well, you know.
You sound like you feel good.
I every little bit helps, you know.
Well, thanks for calling.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. We need to have him and his son back on the show.
He's in the Rockabilly Hall of Fame.
Cool.
Yeah, he lives here in Cleveland.
But he is married.
He is married.
I did not know.
You know,
Just ask his wife.
I do not know his wife, so I am sorry. She may have sent word to get rid of him or something, though. I don't know. I'm not going to say Stan. I'm not sure, but always glad to hear from Stan. And he did come on. Him and his son come on and played that. And ironically, his dad and my dad played together years and years ago, back when radio stations were live. So, hey, folks, you're listening to Old Town Cleveland here on Whoop FM 99.9, or you can go to the internet at www.whoopfm.com. You can call us here at 614-5553. We're talking about Oak Grove School. We got Sandra Paul here and Phyllis Coffee Martin. And I just knew her as Phyllis Coffee, then I knew her as Phyllis Martin, and this your husband. Gary was a good friend of mine.
Yes, Gary.
Yeah,
He died 10 years ago.
Yes, very good friend of mine, and I miss him a lot. And, he done a lot of things. He ran a pawn shop for a while, too, didn't he? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And she has all the stuff at her house.
That's about the truth.
She hasn't turned loose of any of it.
Well.
But a good guy.
Yes,
I
he
do
was.
miss him.
Yes. Something I want to mention, we have a list of persons who have passed away since we've been doing this class reunion. If anybody knows of anybody in the classes, we need you to call in or text or whatever, get on the Facebook, internet, whatever. Of course, Mike Burke, he drowned. Tragedy in our class. And
How old was he when he drowned?
We were in high school.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they were going off, he and Randy Burns were going off to college, and he was, they already had the rooms picked out.
And he drowned over there behind the school? Or where did he drown?
He drowned over in his family, had
like a pond or something? Or
something. Some property over on 64 Highway.
Okay. And then they started Mike Burke Park.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And that is something that anybody in Oak Grove community needs to go look and see and get with Parks and Recreation. That I don't know if they have that taken over, but it's a mess.
It needs to be
and
cleaned up.
it needs some tender loving care.
That's sad. And how? What year would that have been?
Well,
67.
67.
Yeah.
We were seniors.
Okay.
Yeah. And he's a cousin to Butch Hancock.
Okay.
Winston.
Now, who else do you think passed?
Peggy Bracken, Donald Cry, Ruby Darnell, Tommy Kirkpatrick, Alan Varnell, Frankie Beck, Susan Brooks, Judy Pale, Larry Pickens, Danny Thomas, Danny Lane, Hilda Hall, Brenda Dixon, Daryl Cannon. I've got Gordon McCormick / Pete, Danny McCoy, Donnie McCoy, George Baldwin, John Munger was a Vietnam vet person who passed away.
He was killed in Vietnam.
Killed in Vietnam.
Wow.
I may have already said Judy Pale,
Yeah.
Janice McCann, Butch Whiteside, and David Ware. And
I remember when David Weir was first grader.
Tommy Kirkpatrick.
Yes, I said.
Oh, yeah. Steve Kirkpatrick and Tommy.
It's funny, people used to have children
And
every
Jeff
couple of
Kirkpatrick.
years. So I was in school with Susan Hendricks, Laura Presswood, Danny Queen,
Leslie Heiberger,
and Leslie.
Mm-hmm.
And we all had brothers in the same grade.
Oh, okay.
I thought that was cool.
But yeah. Well, and families were so much larger then. It's really unusual. If we have a family of 4 kids, it's usually a marriage that brought kids from both sides. And rarely, except with our beautiful Russian families, they have lots of beautiful children.
Now, I want to, about sports real quick, I want to go back and say, Bradley County started a grammar school football league in about 66, 67. And I was able to play on that very first team with people like Tobe McKenzie, Dwight Lowry, the Whaley boys, the Wittens, Bruce and Rick Witten. Gosh, there was a long line of them. Some of those went on to be very good football players at Bradley High School, basketball players. Den Spots, a retired Jersey over there. We won the county championship, and so just very proud. So I'm actually part of a trophy in the trophy case. The only one in my entire life anywhere.
Go you.
Yeah, well, but Mr. Refner and Mr. Beatty was our coaches.
Yes, and I ended up teaching with Mr. Bob Beatty at Charleston High School.
Mm-hmm.
And he said he got out some old tapes of the girls' basketball team. And he said I was nothing but arms and legs and couldn't walk.
They have
I couldn't
movies?
run. But yeah, that's the old type.
Where are they?
Well, he had them. And then he's passed.
Mm-hmm.
And then...
Is that Vicky Beatty's husband?
No, that's
Okay.
Bonnie Beatty's husband.
Keith's related to him, though. Keith's dad was Cecil?
Leon.
Right.
Well, going back to, you were talking about the food. Phyllis's mother
worked there.
She was a cook. We used to have good meals.
Mm-hmm.
Home cooked meals.
Home
The
cooked.
rolls.
And the rolls. Oh.
I attribute my 3 ounces overweight to my childhood eating.
Well, I'm like a tree. I just gain a ring every year, so don't worry about it.
I didn't know your mom worked out there.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. Things you don't realize when you're
A child.
6 till you're about 12, they're just like,
Oblivious.
unless, somebody, unless you made a body noise or something like that was the funny part.
Yeah. Well, in the cafeterias, I always got tickled because they'd have that red Jell-O with fruit in it, which was probably the worst thing. But they had, homemade macaroni and cheese,
Mm-hmm.
and they made
it wasn't plastic meat,
right? And the rolls were absolutely incredible. And even though that you got no credit for the desserts, they didn't have to put a dessert on the tray. You always had a slice of at least yellow cake with a little chocolate on top of it. Good food.
I have to admit, I was a picky eater. It looks like
Square pizza.
I was a picky eater, and I brought my lunch almost every day at Oak Grove.
He was.
Oh man, I used to bring.
We got over that.
I'd bring some. Mother was very creative with, because I was a picky eater too. I remember one time my aunt said, "Well, what did you have for lunch today?" And I said, "Grass." We'd had
A salad.
No, we had turnip greens.
Oh, grass. Yeah.
And I said grass, but Mother made mine, and I remember Sarah White used to bring an apple jelly and a peanut butter sandwich. And I'd trade with her whatever my mother had come up with, because I thought that was just the greatest thing in the world.
Mm-hmm.
An apple sandwich, and it had the crust on it too.
Schools were like they are now, is that if you want anything other than electricity and heat, you have to raise the money yourself. And I can just, in my head, see Roger Rowe. He would order apples from somewhere, and they were great big apples. And he'd put them in the refrigerator, and at snack time you could go buy an apple for $0.25 or something from him. And he also sold wagon wheels, and it was a coconut round disc that had chocolate on it, and they were called wagon wheels. And I've eaten my weight worth of wagon wheels in my lifetime. I can't eat coconut now.
Oh, do you remember a mallow?
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, yeah. I had one of those on vacation this year.
I found them. I had some. Man, they're good. Oh,
we looked forever for those little peanut butter bars that have the stripes on them. You remember those from Tom's?
White hard
and had
candy
the
and
peanut
butter.
But now, when you get them, you can get them at Cracker Barrel and Dollar General store. I think it looks like they got the stripe on it, but when you take the paper off, the stripes are on the paper, not on the candy anymore.
Cheated me.
Yeah.
I was.
But I remember them being really big too.
What music did you listen to?
Elvis.
45s.
Elvis was the big thing. Buddy Holly.
No.
They're after that. I mean,
Buddy
the
Holly.
Beatles.
The Beatles were when we were in high school.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting in Cleveland State at the
Student Center.
in the Student Center, listening to Sitting on the Dock of the Bay.
Yep.
You remember that one?
Yeah, I do.
But we listened to Elvis, mostly Elvis, and let's see. And those, we were out in the car, in my daddy's car.
Last date.
Last date.
That's
Yeah.
what the-
I
Stuff
won't
like
sing.
that.
I'll
That's
just
what
tell
the-
you the name. Something else I thought about a few minutes ago when we were doing the JFK thing and talking about that. Probably 15 years ago or something, at a yard sale, I bought someone's scrapbook. At part of the high school kids, some of them were required to make a scrapbook of that time. I guess she was moving or something and just needed to sell it, and it's at our house. And Ron has one made that he made in 4th grade. That's just one of those little cardboard folders that everything's taped cricket and stuff, but it's really cute to look at. But that's the kind of thing that I get. Do you guys remember doing something like that in high school?
Yeah.
I remember doing the bug collection and
Bud collections.
and the flower collection and
Leaf collections.
and I had my first wreck as a
First one.
as a child. I was
And she was still a child.
I was still underage driving. I was
And she hit a police officer.
well. He hit me. He could have hit Tobe or Mark McKenzie playing in the ditch, or hit me. So I was lucky and got hit. I got out of a silver Corvette, and I thought, oh, he's got a uniform on. Maybe we can work a deal here. And
Do you remember his name?
No.
Police officer's name?
If she did, she couldn't say it.
no. Anyway, he'd come to show this car, and he had gone. I had gone to get more cotton to stick my straight pins in my bugs to mount for my bug collection. And anyway, long story short, we went to court. We all lost, and we did. It was crazy. Mama was cited with giving me permission to drive underage. I was charged with doing the driving without a license, and he had his tags on Capitol Motors Corvette and run a stop sign, and then at the end he had to pay for everything, and then his wife presented him with divorce papers as he walked out. So everybody lost that day.
It was just a loser's day.
Yeah.
It sounds like a soap opera, doesn't it? That would make a good episode.
I just wanted to mention, and I'm sure I'm going to miss somebody, but some of the ladies that I remember being in the cafeteria out at Oak Grove was Shirley Carroll and Janice Allen. Both of them worked over 30 years. And Mrs. Phillips, I remember Mrs. Phillips being there, and then Janice Allen's mother. We always called her Cookie. I don't remember what her last name was. But there were people there that were really dedicated to the cause and spent, a good portion of their life there working in the cafeteria, along with my sister Marilyn. Bandy was there for several years, too. And I find the same thing true in schools now, that you'll have a handful, a good group of people that are there for a long period of time just because they like being there.
Well, I think it's interesting that places like Oak Grove and Black Fox and maybe not as much North Lee now since it's been taken over by the city.
No, it's not taken over by the city.
Well, but the city is taking it over.
Right.
Yeah, but it's still
It has city kids going there.
There's still Oak Grove is still that middle class rural type school, and like you said, there's parents and their children, and now their children are going to school.
They lost a lot of kids to Parkview when Parkview opened.
Well, the new school coming along, and
Taylor School's still around, but it's really small. Valley View's still around.
Is
It's
Michigan
small.
Avenue still around?
Michigan Avenue's
it's
huge.
booming.
Probably
Really?
500 kids. Yeah. Black Fox is big. Waterville Community's very big.
So they combined McDonald and
Well, when the tornado hit Blue Springs kids, we got about half of them at Black Fox, maybe more.
We've only had 158 schools closed in Bradley County.
Yeah. Well, you know, back in the day before there was transportation, you had to have one within a mile of most
Right.
every little community. And so then it went to 6 miles, and then it went to what it is today.
Well, my son asked me one time, he says, Mama, when you were young, you know, back in the olden days.
Way back when.
Little proud.
Did
Little
you
House
have,
on the Prairie
did you
days.
how did you get to school? Did you walk? Did you walk 10 miles in the snow? I said, yeah. I walked all the way down our driveway. Down our front walk to the end of the walkway and caught that big old stinky yellow bus. And it always smelled like, school always smelled like pencil shavings and oranges.
And old tennis shoes.
I don't think they were invented then. Tennis
Well, the
shoes.
kids.
Oh, the
Yeah,
dirty,
yeah.
dirty, stinky kids out
Yeah.
at playtime. Oh,
Yeah,
my
yeah.
gosh.
Now,
After playtime, it smells like wet puppies,
in
doesn't it?
grammar school, what do you remember? Did you have a style back then of clothing, or
You didn't wear pants. Girls didn't wear pants.
Oh, no.
We wore dresses.
We wore dresses.
Oh, that,
I would wear a ironed dress, a starched crinoline, and my corduroy pants under it because I did not like to wear dresses, but my mom insisted that I would wear a dress to school. But I'd have on my old clunky corduroy pants. And when you got home from school, did you stay in those nice clothes?
No.
No, ma'am.
You went to your play clothes.
You went to your play clothes
But-
because you didn't want to get grass stains on your
I went every morning when I left school. I looked like a doll.
Mm-hmm.
My mother, like you say, the iron,
Mamas were homely.
the iron clothes. I remember having saddle Oxfords. You remember
Mm-hmm.
black and white saddle Oxfords? When I came home that afternoon, one of the sashes would be torn off my dress. I'd look like I'd been rolled.
Ragamuffin.
You know, I look like a ragamuffin.
you had to climb and run and fight in the
And my shoes were all scuffed up. But the next morning, when I got ready to go, those shoes were polished, and my dress was mended the next time.
See,
I
I
wore
think that's now the kids just have clothes that they wear all the time, and
Yeah.
it's not, nothing's ever mended. It just goes in.
you know-
it
They
goes
don't
in
they don't even wear them to church. I mean, you had
Kids
your
come
school
casual.
clothes,
No, it's casual.
your church clothes, and your play clothes.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
it.
And oh yeah, you dressed up to go to church too.
Uh-huh.
I mean, there isn't. You don't even dress to go to church now. It's. I remember you folks went on to Bradley, and I know you didn't wear pants there either.
No, and your skirt. You had to. If your skirt was too short, if you could stand up and it came above your
fingertips.
Fingertips.
Well, now see, I'm more fortunate.
No, I'm sorry. You had to get on your knees, and if it didn't touch the floor, it was too short.
Oh my word.
See, as I got there, I was there 69 to 72.
The skirts had gotten shorter.
Mini skirts had got short. I mean short. Yes, Lord. Anyway, and there's
Going up and down those stairs, it was
steps
awful.
at Bradley too. Yes,
I'm surprised I didn't wear my corduroy pants and my dresses.
but it was interesting. They could not wear pants, but they could wear those skirts up
Too far.
They looked like belts.
They were barbed wire fence dresses.
Yeah, and you can see through them.
It protected property, didn't obstruct the view. That's what a barbed wire fence is.
Don't go there, Ron.
Well, my dad would say something like, "If you can bend over, and we see your underwear, it's too short."
Yep. Oh, well, that was it. But I remember finally my senior year, they did come back and this was the rule. Mr. Schultz got this rule: if it was 15 degrees or lower, as announced on WBAC at 7:00 in the morning, you could wear a pantsuit, not jeans. Girls could never wear jeans, but and boys could wear jeans, but they had to be.
But you wouldn't.
And you tucked your shirt.
Oh yeah, and
belt.
hair did not touch your ears. Hair did not touch your eyebrows.
Or your collar.
No mustache, no beards. Oh yeah, it was very strict. And I remember, I won't mention the name, but his last name's Calvi, but I won't mention his first name. He come wearing a pair of bell bottoms, which was popular, and they were paisley, and they were loud. I mean, as he'd walk through the hallway, it lit up. He was expelled. I was sent home. Then we had a guy on the football team whose hair was too long, had moved into the area, and they told me to cut his hair or not. Would he be
believe
out
the
the football
lawsuit
team?
was over him.
He was thrown out of school. School system sued. School system won. They upheld it. Now, the day they moved out of the old school, they got to the new school down here on South Lee.
There was no disclosure.
Everything changed then, and I think Mr. Schultz was ready to go on home then.
Yeah. Let's, once again, tell everybody how they can sign up for the
yes.
reunion coming up.
It's
We're running out of time here.
July 23rd, right?
Yes.
That's a Sunday. 10 to 2 at Oak Grove Elementary, right?
In the cafeteria.
In the cafeteria. Now, if they want to come, tell us what they need to do.
They need to go and take a $15 check per person. The cost is $15 a person. Take a check, cash, an old pair of tennis shoes, just something, to take to Fike Randolph Funeral Home. Kim or his secretary will take up the money, and this week or the first half of next week, so we can get a proper count, so we can know how much food to tell Scott McGowan at Old Fort.
Do you guys have will you have someplace to sit? If somebody brings in pictures or something, they can set up pictures or...
Yes, we usually have a couple of
Memorabilia.
tables. Yes, and be sure your name is on it, because last year somebody's picture was taken. So
Because they all look the same.
Yeah.
Not picture taken, but somebody's picture was
removed.
stolen.
Yeah.
We took lots of pictures.
Now the people who are invited from 56 to 63, if you attended Oak Grove
Anytime.
during that time, this is what this is about.
Yes.
So I got in there. I got 3 years of that. How's that?
Well, the thing about it is we have more things in common.
Yeah, there was nothing common from when we were in first grade to a fourth grader. Nothing. Unless we went to church with them.
Mm-hmm.
And now, there's a 10,
Well,
15,
that
20 years
prevents somebody showing up that be wondering about teachers from the later times, and you guys wouldn't be able to tell
we
me
would
anything.
not know anything.
They need to plan their own reunion.
Of course, I knew who you were because you lived down the street
Right.
from me, and my dad and your dad knew each other and Riordan Club stuff, and of course your brothers I knew better than I did you. Knew you better as an adult than I
Right.
did there. So, I don't know that I ever knew you.
Well, my dad worked at DuPont for 35 years, and he worked, it was an hour drive, both ways. And we were very involved in the church. And my granddad...
Which church is that?
Actually, I'm a charter member. I was a charter member of Tasso Baptist Church.
Oh, were you? Tasso Baptist.
Right.
Well, you'll have to go tomorrow and see who you can see.
But anyway, let's see. We went to church at Smyrna Church in Polk County for years and years, and then we went to Michigan Avenue, and then we went to Tasso, and that's where we, went until I left. But Dad was always, real active in churches. Mother always Daddy did the revivals all over the place.
And I remember those tent revivals.
No, we go to the church. I mean, we're talking, the hard wooden benches. And
Was Pam Dockery in your class?
Pam Moore.
Didn't Red live right up to
Richard
downstairs?
Inslee was in our class.
What year did you girls graduate from high school?
67.
67, okay.
If anybody knows anything about Kathleen Offhouse, we have several people that we are trying to find. We have a list coming out next Wednesday in the Cleveland Daily Banner, and we have an advertisement coming out tomorrow.
Ron, let's mention the Historical Society meeting one more time before we go off the air here in a minute.
It's July 23rd, the Oak Grove reunion. If you attended any time between 1957 and 1963 at Oak Grove, there will be a reunion. Go up to Fike Randolph Funeral Home. Sign up. It's $15. That includes a great buffet, sort of a brunch buffet, 10 to 2. make sure you come. I'm planning on being there.
Great.
I haven't
Can't
got
wait to see you.
That also includes, I mean, go to church. After church, come on.
Yes, we're good. We'd love to be there. And, grew up in the community and we'll know a lot of the faces. Once I get there, I'll go, I know them, as I run into.
Somebody I need to mention is Dolores Brewer. She lived across the street.
Mhm.
And she's in Georgia now.
Well, we couldn't find Susan Hendricks for years and years, and she was here all the time.
Yeah. Well, she and her husband work. He works. I think they're retired now. But anyway, they have a home in Florida and here. So.
Well, the Oak Grove School, one of the great schools in Bradley County. They're all
We have
good.
a lot of good schools.
Sort of my home school, and Deb taught there, and my kids went there, and so
we feel
a
attached.
lot of memories to that school. And I won't tell you all the other stories I know about it. Tomorrow at 2:30 at the Cleveland Public Library in the community room. That's the main building over on, on Church. Go in there, and we'll have a meeting. The quarterly meeting of the Bradley County Historical Society. We're going to be discussing the mysterious tunnels. Dr. Richard Jones from Lee University, who done the research on it, him and his students. There are miles of tunnels under the city of Cleveland, miles, and they're not what you think they are, and they're not built when you thought you were. So,
They were, yeah.
When
But anyway,
they
come
were.
listen to the presentation. It'll be good.
It'll be very interesting and very educational. And maybe even shocking to some people to find out what all these tunnels are for. They're there, folks, all over Bradley County, or the city of Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
And so make sure you
2:30
come.
tomorrow.
2:30. Free. Absolutely free. Good
Next
call.
week's show will be the Parksville Cabins, and we're so glad that these Oak Grove girls came in here and joined us today. And we will see you guys next week right here on Old Town Cleveland. What you got to say, Ron?
First, we got to.
He has come unplugged, y'all.
I get tangled up over here. I have a rough day.
Last week, he had that round and around the chair wheel, and he was over there kind of dancing around, and I'm trying to figure out. I finally did like this so I wasn't looking at him.
It wasn't as bad as the day the chair back broke off.
And he flipped over backwards.
The bolts had fell out of it, and I leaned back and
he did a slow motion.
We had a Pulitzer Prize nominated author in here, and my feet are sticking up there. I'm interviewing him, so the show got to go on. Sandra, you've been in radio, and so every week we tell people to get those pictures from under the bed, up and under the bed is that old term that people say, out of the shoe boxes, out of the plastic box in the garage, wherever they are. Get them out. Get your grandfather, grandmothers, aunts, uncles, brothers to write the names on the back of them. Go buy some archival ink and some archival labels like you use in scrapbooking. You can get it up at Joe Rogers here in town. Go up there and get those and write them on there. They won't bleed through the picture later on. And then share those pictures on Facebook. If you don't want the pictures, bring them to us. We'll be glad to process them, and then we'll get them to the History Branch, which has an unbelievable picture library up there of old pictures. A lot of them we don't have any idea who they are. We have those pictures. So it's your job. Every day someone dies in our community, history dies too with it. So we always like to say everyone will remember Pearl Harbor, but
will they remember Aunt Pearl? See you guys here next week on Old Town Cleveland. Thanks, girls.
Bye-bye, y'all.
In my hometown
You are listening to WOOP-LP, Cleveland, Tennessee. WOOP FM is a broadcasting service of the Traditional Music Resource Center, and we play America's original music.